Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, commodities, ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. I dive deeper into all these sectors, topics, companies, looking for potential investment opportunities. I look at everything. Dividends, exploration companies, developers. I screen everything using technical analysis. Then I look into the fundamentals, marry those two together, and those are generally my top picks. That's right. The 10-second off the cuff talk there. If that interests you and that process I use and the strategies I deploy and position sizing, portfolio setting up portfolios, definitely join. Mayday coupon code is the coupon code we have today, MAYDAY, and you get 50% off the monthly membership, and you can always switch to a yearly membership and get that bigger discount with that coupon code, switch into the yearly. All right, guys, let's take a look, see what's going on here today. Looking at the DXY, we are still seeing strength in the DXY, so the momentum's up. We had a sign of potential reversal yesterday, and that today the buyers came in and, well, I should say, the strength of the dollar came in and pushed it higher. That's generally related to yields. So yields are still moving on up, and the difference in the strength of currencies and those yields is what determines where the dollar goes. We've been moving on up. The 2-year is moving on up, looking pretty strong, in fact. That still looks good to go higher. The 10-year, we had maybe a potential reversal candlestick yesterday, and I said we got to wait and see what we get today. Not a ton of follow through here, guys. That's not follow through for the sellers. So to me, it still looks strong and the momentum's still to the upside. And then we've got the 30-year, which is right above support. And right now, that still looks good. We go higher, 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 higher. We are sitting on top of support. We are using that as support right where we're at, and that is screaming that we could go higher here. Now, keep in mind, everything in the short term, it can shift very quickly. At this time, everything looks good to go higher. TYX, TNX ratio basically went nowhere today, but this has been inverting, coming back down in the short term. Longer term, we're still at a pretty low level, and it does look like it wants to pull back some. We see during a recession is an uninversion of this curve goes up, and precious metals do very well. When inflation is a problem, and inflation is not a problem generally during recessions. But if inflation is a problem, and it very well could be, we could reinvert the curve, and perhaps gold breaks apart from this historical relationship that it's had with this. And what that would mean is that we would see gold and interest rates go up together. PLT bond prices looking like they want to go, it was lower, 0.6% today. And we very well could head lower. That is a bearish engulfing here, guys. Bearish engulfings generally go lower. And we've got a bunch of resistance ahead of us or on top of us. That looks a little bit bearish for bond prices, and it looks like yields could keep going up. We've got the 2 and 10. The 2 and 10 is right against resistance of that downtrend line. We have a bottom and a potential higher bottom, and we're coming up into this resistance. We'll see if we can break that and invert the curve further to the upside if it does break. And it does look like it wants to break. Gold's up a little bit. We're up about $6. We still have this pesky bearish engulfing pattern, and that is still in play. We still very well could roll over. If we're not going to roll over, I'd like to see it take out that high there and break through it. If we do roll over, it would just sell off and move on lower. Maybe put a bearish engulfing or something next. So we'll see what direction this goes. It's consolidating here just a little bit sideways. Silver is still consolidating. I still think this looks good. There's not a ton of follow through after this bearish engulfing pattern that we got. It can still go in either direction because we haven't seen the buyer step in yet. But this could very well be some sort of flag pattern or something that squeezes up like that. And we'll watch it together here. There's a ton of support all underneath us. So supports here, the big supports underneath us here. It still looks good. We've got platinum right at against resistance. We're starting to get above it. We're at 1032. So we're getting real close to a potential breakout where we leave that resistance trend line. We'll see if that occurs here. It's going to be right in front of us. Palladium doesn't care. It's going up 2.67%. That's broken its trend line here. I use that as a trend line. Go to the weeklies there. That trend line there, and it's ripping. It looks good to work its way on up. It doesn't mean every single day will be up, but it's looking good. It's looking very good. And we took full advantage of this, guys. We played the bottom of palladium, platinum, and all those group metals with the mining companies quite well on that website. So if you guys are still holding, pat yourself on the back. GDX down a little bit, DXJ down a little bit, and same with SILJ. These are not big, strong selling candlesticks. They are not reversal candlesticks or anything like that. So I think everything looks okay. We're just getting a little bit of a consolidation pullback, which is normal. You know, something like this, and then you pull on up, and then you get a little pullback, and keep stair stepping higher. So I think it still looks good. XE to gold ratio, we have pulled back below that trend line there. But again, we are still above all of the important trend lines. And we just have small little compressed down candlesticks. Everything looks good to go higher with time. Crude oil up over 2%. Some people may be surprised by it, not myself. Got a low, a higher low, a higher low. We're coming on up. I'd like to see this break through and get, take a run here and get above that $78 range. That's what I'd like to see. Doesn't mean I'll get it, but that's what I'd like to see. So that looks pretty strong, and hopefully that momentum can continue higher. There's a lot of stuff I want to buy. Hopefully it doesn't go up too high, too fast. Maybe a little bloody nose here would be a good down day. Give me some buying opportunity. ETF nat gas ribbon, boys. I like it. I like it a lot. It is ribbon higher for TTF gas, and there could be a problem here, guys. We get cold weather, and I'm not talking about the past two years. We had warmer winter weather. If we get one cold winter, this is going to move. We are going to eat through inventories, and people are going to put loads in their pants, like they're dumping themselves, if you get what I'm saying, crapping themselves because they're going to get scared that the inventory is going to run out. We just need one cold winter, and all of that inventory is going to erase itself. So we'll see how this plays out, but right now it looks fantastic to move on higher. Nat gas in America up about 1% today, and that looks good. It's working its way on up. Looking good. A little bit of colder weather coming through. We've got our boy XOP. Yeah, you know me. It is still looking fantastic. We are kind of squeezing in this little wedge pattern. We're right there trying to break out. I don't want it to break out too fast because I got some more money I want to buy. Not an XOP, but companies that are in energy service. OIH also up about 1.43%. We've got this downtrend line that's breaking today. We'll see if that holds. And we continue higher. We've got Newcastle coal futures. Remember TTF gas going on up. Newcastle coal futures looking pretty good. Rounding the bottom out and looking like it wants to head on higher. So that looks pretty strong. Newcastle coal future looking good. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust still getting a little bit of selling pressure at that resistance level. So here's your resistance up here. Came up, hit it. We're coming back. We'll probably do a loop of some sort again. Don't get discouraged. Be patient. Uranium futures pricing down a little bit. Still looks okay. Still looks fine. We'll bounce around before maybe heading higher. Maybe we do some sort of bowl shape pattern, whatever it is. Looks good. URA down a teeny bit, 0.66%. We're coming on down to that support region. This would be what a buy point looks like. And then you can look at individual companies. That looks pretty strong. Uranium also kind of slowing down. I'd like to see a reversal candlestick somewhere to kick this boy off. URNJ doing the same thing. So I'd like to see a reversal candlestick. I'd like to see an up day where we get a reversal candlestick where we could show us that the buyers are stepping in and going to go higher. We don't have that yet, but it's slowing down and trying to turn. Looks good. Potential buy point is coming. Copper. Copper looking good. It's just bounced out of its falling wedge sideways. It looks like it wants to try to go higher eventually. The OPX is already on the move a little bit, up 0.2. in that squeezing falling wedge. And that generally goes right to the top of this. So we're right in that general location, and right here would be a spot. Be looking. Iron ore up 0.34%. I love this pattern, guys. I think this is going to be a big boy move. Big boy move. This could be a huge move. So iron ore looks really good. Hopefully we get that move starting. We do see some positioning in some of the individual companies. That's for sure. We've got aluminum up 1.3%. We're still at that resistance support level right there, and we need to still break through. When we break through, you'll see the aluminum companies really start to move to the upside. Nickel down a little bit today, still trying to work its way around, still trying to find that bottom. Get a little bit of selling pressure here, surprised by it. Generally, you get a kind of a surge higher, small kind of move back, and we'll see if it can work its way on up. Or if there are still selling pressure here, we start to see these candles elongate like they kind of have been. So there's still some selling pressure left in nickel. Let me look at the big picture view here. A double bottom to me. Just looking for support on the left-hand side here. If there's any support that I might be missing, support all over the place. Moo, still pulling back just a teeny bit. Well, it's actually up 0.12%, but we're pulling back in these small candlesticks. Looks good. It's going to rip at some point. It's going to go higher, probably when the dollar weakens. Yes. Emerging markets still pulling back in that wedge pattern. Looking good for a potential move higher. We're waiting for the dollar to weaken. Today we had stronger dollar, stronger yields. That's going to weigh on some of these sectors, but it looks good. It looks like people are positioning for a move higher, the falling wedge. KRE down 1.8%. Looks like we're coming back to the bottom of this pattern. I talked about the potential inverted flag pattern and the move lower. That we're going to get this move lower. It looks like it could potentially move lower here. We'll see if the pattern can contain the move. We've got TAN up 4.7%, kind of a retest move here. Maybe we could go higher. Weaker dollar, weaker yields. TAN loves that. So if that shows up, we might start to see this move on up. Lithium moving on up, about 2%, looking good. REMX also moving up 1.55, kind of breaking through that resistance downtrend. Baltic Dry Index continuing to sell off, coming on down. I'd love to buy dry bulk shipping companies if they get cheaper. I love it. I love the dividend yields. XHB, so the stronger yields, this is going to weigh on it, guys. We're probably going to head lower here. There's a bullish engulfing. We got the selling pressure here. Those yields going up is home builders are not going to like that. They are not going to like it. We've seen big moves in mortgage rates. The 10-year specifically, this move here, guys, that's going to weigh on the home builders. I think the market was positioning for the yields to pull on back. That's what I thought the yields were going to do myself. And I was like, oh, we're going to get a move higher with yields pulling on back. But you know what? We're not getting that. Here it is falling. We could see this pull on back if yields continue to go higher. And they look like they can continue to go higher. Russell 2000 pulling on back, doesn't like the yields going on up. S&P 500 doesn't like those yields going up. It's going to start to weigh on the market. And then the NASDAQ, just a little selling pressure doji candlestick. This looks like it wants to head lower. If yields continue higher, this will move down. When these sell off, that is when you might see QE go into effect. And when we get QE, we could see some things turn around, but that hasn't happened yet. We could see the market start to sell off if rates continue higher. SMCI up a little bit, but it's in this basically range bound area in a channel. We've got NVIDIA up 0.8%. We'll see if this holds here and what interest rates do in the overall markets. Bitcoin is selling off 2.2%, right at support still. And Ethereum selling off a little bit. We're back to the support level down here. I'll throw different trend line there. So we'll see if that holds there. You can see a little wicket there, a little buying pressure, a little bit of buying pressure right at support. See if it holds. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We've got a question and answer session coming up tomorrow, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I tape them. So if you can't make it, you're part of the website, you tape the recordings, the live recordings, and post them on the website after the question and answer session. I usually do the Q&As in the morning on Saturday or on the evening of Sundays, so I can get the most amount of people. I'm trying to separate it so some people can at least attend some of them if you're in other countries. So that's what we've got. All I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.